No one's on. No one's on.
Is it any on? I text him. Did he say this?
Yeah, somebody come. Mario,
Yes,
Shavua Tov, how are you? It was nice to see you.
nice to see you.
Mario,
Yeah.
what page are we on? What chapter in the Navi? What page?
103.
No, but what?
Where? In Navi?
Yeah.
Chapter 18. We're starting 18.
18, okay.
Thank you.
I haven't been on in a while.
Yeah, but we're having Daf Yomi now.
Oh, it's Daf Yomi now. Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry. Okay.
That's why I thought you said where
No,
we are.
Oh, yeah, Daf Yomi. Okay, fine. Okay, I got it. Okay.
All right. Really?
Gimel. In koifenes amoich lim korzim nachrisa. You cannot force the person you bought. Let's say you bought a field in somebody else's name, like the Rosh Kalusa. You cannot force the seller to write another document with your name. However, if you did it on a condition that he was going to write another star later on, then of course you can force the mocher to write another star. You buy a field for a third party. You can't force the seller to write another star. Pshita, you already taught me that's not the same. Maybe you might have thought the buyer could say, "Maybe yadis to you know that I was buying it for myself. I just wanted like a guarantee, a protection, that I told you that I'm buying it in the name of somebody else. I'm not wasting my money to buy a field for somebody else. I'm buying it for myself. Kamash Malon to Amrle, the moicher can respond to say, "In Yona Avil Chabad Yahu Divs Bishmei." I'm dealing with the one whose name was, with the direct person who's buying me the field. V'lichta v'chashtar achrina. And I'm not going to necessarily write another star. But if it's made conditionally, so of course, if there's a Tanai there, pshita, why would I think not? There were Adim there in front of the seller. And he said, he told the Adim that he's going to need another star with another name. Maybe the moicher could still say, Amina star meich, the koshalt bishmei ka'amret. This other star that you're writing in the name of the third party, let him write the star. No, that's the point why I said in front of the Adim, that I'm going to need the star from you. Rav Kahana Yoav Zuzi Akitna. Rav Kahana gave money to buy flax. L'sof iyakar kitna. The flax went up in price. Zavne marvasa de kitna. And so let's say Rav Kahana given him $100. for the flax. 6 months later, the flax was worth $150, and he sold it for $150. And the guy who sold it wanted to give all that money to Rav Kahan. Also committed Rav. Omer le mayo avid. What should I do? Ezel eshkol zuzoi. If I take the money, maybe there's interest, right? I gave $100, he's giving back 150 over time. Maybe I'm being paid money for time. Omer le ikakazavni amri haikitin tikanu zil shakel. If when the guy sold it, he said, this is Kahana's flax, then it belonged to you, and it's not ribis. You could take the full money. The ilo lo tishkol, but if it wasn't sold as Kahana's flax, then you can't take it. Kiman, who is that like? Kivnei Marava, like the Talmidei Chacham in Eretz Yisrael, the Amri. Miodi lebal chitn sheyikne chitn lebal mos. When a shaliach goes to buy something from a balabais who told him to do something, he really acquires it for himself. Unless the one who sold it knows for sure who he's selling it to. And if the shaliach really is zoicha for himself, Otu miyoiv Rav Kana arba b'shakal tamne. Rav Kana didn't give $4 and get $8 back. He bought flax. The flax, nothing to do with Rav Kana, went up in price. Migzul Gazlua. And maybe the guy who sold it was stealing it from Rav Kana by selling it to somewhere else. Utnan, kola gazlonim mishalim kasasa gzela. When he took it at the price that it was when he sold it to Rav Kahana. Amri, Hasam Amana Havi. There was a trust between Rav Kahana and the seller. Below Mashke. Rav Kahana never took possession of it by doing Mashicha. Rav Kahana Lekitna. So he was never koine it himself. So there was no Gzela when the seller sold it to somebody else, because Rav Kahana had never taken possession of it. The Rav Tamei, and Rav is consistent with his sforsh. Amar Rav, oisi mamana beperis. You can. It's like a future. Person can pay money. He doesn't do mashiach. He doesn't do an act of kinyan on the fruit, and he's going to get it in 6 months from now, like a future. But enoisi mamona bedomim, you can't do it with currency, where he's going to get money instead of the payrolls. That looks like ribbis, so we outline it because it looks like ribbis. Mechzik ribbis, says Rashi. Hagozel is chaveiro, shava pruta. I stole something that was worth a pruta. And the guy who I stole it from comes to me and says, give me back the thing you stole. Vinish below. The Gazlan takes an oath, a false oath. They didn't steal it. Now the Gazlan wants to do tshuva. So now, besides paying back the Karen, you have to pay a fine of a fifth. You have to pay chomesh. Yoelichenu achrav le'eretz modai. You can chase after him no matter how far away he is. Not only that, lo yitein lo livnov lo l'shlucho. The Gazlan has to give it back to the guy he stole it from, not to his son, not to a shaliach. Aval noisen l'shlich bezdin. If Bezdin appointed a shlich, you can give it to him. In mace, if the person that was stolen from died, then yachzor liyorsha. Then the Gazlan can return it to the yorship. If the Gazlan paid the keren but not the chomesh, Oy machal ala keren v'lo machal ala chomesh. The one who was stolen from was moichel the keren, but not the fifth. O machal al zeh v'al zeh chutz mipachot m'shav pruta b'keren. He was moichel everything except a pruta in the keren. Then eino tzarech leilech achrav. Then there's no kapar unless he returns it. But in nasal nasa chomesh, lo nasal nasa keren. He paid the chomesh, but not the keren. Machal ala chomesh, v'lo machal ala keren. It was moichel the chomesh, but not the keren. Machal al zeh v'al zeh chutz mishav pruta b'keren. Sarich leilev lakrav. He has a responsibility of finding the guy who he stole from, wherever he is, if he goes to China, to return it to him. Nasa nasa keren v'nishbalo ala chomesh. He returned the principal. He took an oath that he paid the chomesh, and then it was a lie. And later on, he confesses that he had not paid the chomesh. So the chomesh becomes like the keren. Harezim eshalim chomesh ala chomesh. That which he denied in the shvua becomes like the keren. He has to pay a fifth on the fifth. And this can go on and on. Achi smarta keren mishav pruta. Once there's not a shav pruta left in the chomesh, then he doesn't have to. He's not responsible anymore. All of this applies not just to something that he steals, but pikodon. If somebody deposited an item with you, and you deny that he ever deposited it with you, it's all the same dinim. Shenemar o b'pikadon o b'tzumes yad. Tzumes yad is a loan. O begezel o ashakas amito. Wages, and the guy denies that he paid the wages. O matzaveda, he find a lost object. B'chicheshba, and he says, "No, I never found it." V'nishba sheker. Harezim eshalim keren v'chomesh, and you have to bring a korban asham, the asham. Nishbalo in, lo nishbalo lo. You don't have to chase him back to China to return what you stole unless you took a false oath. Our Mishnah says. And therefore, Mani, lo Rav Tarfon, v'lo Rabbi Akiva. Our Mishnah is not like either of those Tanoim, the Tanya. Gozel echad mechamisha. Person stole from one of five people. Ve'ene yodea is a man, but you don't know which one you stole from. Kol echad oimer oisi gaza. Each one claims that he was stolen from. Menich gzela b'neim mistalik. He puts the one item down that he stole in front of all five and let them figure it out. Devar Rav Tarf. Rabbi Akiva omer lo yizu derech moitzios midei aveira. This is not going to absolve him of sin. Ad shisham gzela kol echad echad. He has to pay each one of the five a full item. So man, ikar of Tarfon, afal gav dishtava. Means even if he had taken an oath that he hadn't stolen, still, the shvur doesn't get him off the hook, and or he doesn't have to go find and return the gzeil if the guy moves to China. He just puts it down and that's enough. Ikra b'kiva, avagav shalosh tava. The din applies even when there's no shvur. He doesn't get out of avera achi shalom gzeil kol echad ve'echad. So who is our Mishnah like? Where it says, Lo Rabbi Akiva. When does Rabbi Akiva say you have to pay an item to each person? If he took a shvua. My time at Omar Kra, La Asher Hu Lo Yitnenu B'Yom Hashmaso. Rav Tarfon, who says even when you take a shvua, you can just put it down. Afa gav di shtaba, Ovid Rabbanan takonto. The Chacham made a takana to be makel in order for him to be about tshuva. The Tanya. Rav Lezer Rav Tzadok Omer. Takana gdoli iskinu. Shem haisa itza yisera la keren. If to return what was stolen, if the expenses are more than the keren itself, Mishalim keren v'chomish lebezdin. If you don't have to travel to China because your costs are going to be way too high, you give the keren l'chomish to bezdin. Umevi hashama miskaper lo. He brings his korban and he has kapora. So in the case of he doesn't know who he stole from, among the 5 people, he puts it down, it's a hakul. What does Rabbi Kiva say to that? Rabbi Kiva, the Chachami made that takana when you know who you stole from. Eventually, Bezdin will get the money back to the person. But when you stole from 5, but you don't know which 5 you stole from, where and we're not sure that the money is going to get back to the owner. The Chacham didn't make the kula, and it requires you to pay back the gzela to each and every person. Masiv Ravuna Bar Yehuda, Amar Shem ben Elazar, Lo Yinech L'Raftar from Rabbi Kiva, Ashalachak Echad Mechamisha Veinu Dei Mezamen Laka. You bought an item from one of 5 stores, and you forgot which one you bought it from, and you want to pay. There's no Aveira committed. You put the money down in front of the 5 stores and let them work it out. You stole from one of 5 people. There's an Aveira. Rav Tarfon, you get away from the Aveira by Meniach to make Zela Beinemo Mistalik. You put the money down and then you're off the hook. You got to give the Gzela from each person. Now, if you're talking about that he took a false oath, and that's why Rabbi Kiva's machmir that you have to give it back to each person, why would there be a distinction? Mali lokach, mali gozal. Why should there be a distinction between buying something you don't know who you bought it from versus stealing? V'od masif rava. Ma'aseh b'chassid echad shelokach mishnei bnei adam. A certain chassid bought an item from one of 2 people. V'lahaya yodea meiz man lokach. You don't know which one you bought it from. Uba lifnei Rav Tarfon amal hanach tmei me'ekcha b'neim mistalif. Put the money down in front of the 2 of them and let them fight it out. But you're off the hook. You have to pay each person. If you're talking about that he had to take a shvua falsely in order for this to happen, a chassid is not going to take a false oath. Maybe he became a chassid after he took the shvua. Whenever Chazal use the terminology chassid echad, or Rav Yehuda ben Bava, or Rav Yehuda bar Eloi, Rav Yehuda ben Bava, Rav Yehuda ben Eloi, chassidim to be karav, but they were chassidim for their whole life. El la'olam, Rav Tarfon and Rabbi Kiva are arguing even without a shvua. Even so, Rabbi Kiva says you have to return the gzela to each and every person. Our Mishnah, where it's only in a case where you took a shvua, that's only Rav Tarfon. Rav Tarfon that Rav Tarfon admits to Rabbi Kiva that you have to return to each and every person if you took a shvua. Why? My timer. Amar Kra. Lasher hu lo yitnenu b'yom hashmaso. Rabbi Kiva de Amar afagat lo mishtaba. Rabbi Kiva requires you to return it to each and every person without a shvua, konis, it's a knas. Ula Rav Tarfon, michte hechli mishtabel lo sagi. The lo hoide. When he takes a shvua, he's not going to be miskaper if he didn't confess. And that's why he has to return to each person. So, my irya vinishpa, afilu b'lo shvua nami. Based on that, he would have to return it to each person without a shvua kon Rav Tarfon. The Tanya, moide Rav Tarfon, ba'omer lishnaim gazati echad mikem mon v'eni de'ezem mikem. If he admits, I stole from one of you, but I don't know which one, nois lezemon or lozemon. So if he's admitting, even Rav Tarfon says it works without a shvua. Okay. Tomorrow, we'll learn the